What is going on, y'all? Today is a lovely chest and tricep day, so you already know it's going to be good, and with some shoulders. But today, I took these nitric oxide boosters. I've seen them on TikTok. They help with pump, vascularity, my muscle connection, just a bunch of good stuff. So I wanted to test it out for myself. So I took about a serving and a half because they say it's actually kind of underdosed. So I just took a serving and a half. It was like serving, it's like serving in 2/3 of a serving. So, like 66%. Serving in 166% of what, like whatever it is. So then this time, if it works fine, I'm going to just try 2 servings and then maybe 3. Because they say you need roughly about, well, like, I think it was like 4 grams for it to really work. And it's only like what you call it, it's only like 225 milligrams of what it actually is. So, you know, we'll see how it works today. We will see. But for today, plan is just get a juicy pump mainly. I want to just see if this stuff really works. But same, you know, traditional stuff. So when it comes to like my intense sets, like the main stuff at the end is going to be more pump stuff. But it's going to be low volume, high intensity training again, you know, same as usual. Because even if I want to get a sick juicy pump, I can still do real sets in the 4 set range max for that muscle group, and then do about 1 or 2 or 3 pump sets of whatever I want to do. So I'll do like whatever I feel the most my muscle connection is through the stretch and the squeeze, and then copy that exercise for about 3 sets for pump, and then, you know, which will be for chest. Because a lot of times when you're competing in bodybuilding, like for shows or something, a lot of guys, what they won't do is they don't pump up their triceps a whole lot, because I think it's your triceps and your quads, no, your tricep and hamstrings is, if you get those pumped up, it actually makes you look just less defined and smaller, because it like fills in that gap instead of leaving that kind of like it's like a, I'm trying to think of that word. It's like not the, what are those? It's in Minecraft and it's real life too, but it's like when you see the world and there's that huge dip in the world, you see all the ores and all the stone and everything. It's basically like that for your triceps. This is the ground level, and this meat in between right here is like the part where it dips down. So when you're getting a tricep pump, that part pumps up and it gets bigger right there too, along with these part of your triceps. But that's why it makes your triceps look a little distorted. Same thing with your hamstring. Your hamstrings also kind of have that same thing where it's like that, like kind of gap in your muscle, and you know. But things like your chest, biceps, shoulders, back, those all are gonna look 10 times better if you get a pump with them. So, and like your forearms and stuff. But like if you want to just look really good for your pictures, like if you want to just get a quick, you know, look better looking picture, get a quick get a quick chest and bicep pump. Along with that, get a quick quad, shoulder pump, and back pump if you can, you know. But yeah, I'd say the easiest thing to get pumped is definitely your biceps, because you could just flex like this over and over again, and you can just get a quick good pump. Like I just got like a little tension right there, and I'm like feeling blood flow go in there. But the one craziest part about like not turning natural, I'm natural still, but I've heard from a lot of guys who aren't natural, the pumps that they get and the amount of fullness that they have when they work out is like the craziest part of it. Like if you guys know Togi, the degenerate gambler, he's actually a super good dude, but you know, that's what he's known for. But one of the things that he said in a podcast was, what gives you more dopamine, a skin splitting crazy pump, or winning on a big jackpot in gambling, and he said the skin splitting pump, even though he's not even that big of a fan of the gym. So if he's saying a skin splitting pump in the gym gives you more dopamine and happiness more than a jackpot, that has to feel crazy. I've had skin splitting pumps before when I first started the gym, and they were crazy. Like, they would make my body look like 2 times, 3 times bigger than I actually was. And it's weird because I did that at my home gym without any machines. And I don't remember how I got it a lot. I think that's because, like, on certain things, like my bicep curls, on some of my weights, I used to just swing it up and get the weight. But I don't really do that because you don't gain much muscle mass from really swinging reps up. Like, I'm not saying there's no benefit to kind of ego lifting a certain, like, couple reps, because it's very weird. Like, you don't want to, like, swing reps because that kind of, destroys that whole mind-muscle connection, kind of getting, like mind-muscle connection. But when you do it, it's just like, I don't know. I haven't really swung the weights up like I used to. I used to go wham and fucking go kind of slow down. But that was like more like the end of my reps. Now I kind of do like a little swing if I can't get it up, but nothing like how I used to. That was like degenerate lifting. Like, just, if you saw it, you would have thought it was so stupid. Now I could probably get away with it because I'm bigger, and it's like, oh yeah, that guy's big, he knows what he's doing, compared to back then where it was like, okay, that kid's small, what the fuck is he doing? It's super weird and crazy with the gym. The bigger you are, the more believable you come, which, yeah, because you have the kind of the physical evidence behind, you kind of know what you're talking about. But in the same time, you don't know everything. So we're going to get in here, get a great pump, hopefully. All right, so first move we have is an incline upper chest movement. Like I said, really good for the upper chest. You're also going to be hitting the middle part of your chest. But main thing is just drive your elbows straight up. Make sure you're kind of keeping a little tucked, not too flared out. So keeping your arms a little in will help that a little bit. Or you can, I guess, do an underhand grip like TNF was saying. But personally, it's not my favorite because I don't get that much of a deep stretch and I don't get much of a squeeze. But train heavy and hard when you're doing this. I just did a set today of this. Now we're going to be doing a push, kind of pressing, kind of fly movement. I like doing these overall because I like the way the squeeze feels on the push movement and the stretch portion of the fly part. I would be going a little kind of, more fly-y, I guess you could say, if I was doing just a straight fly. But this is just really good for the stretch and squeeze. So overall, just keep your elbows tucked in when you do this. Try to meet your elbows together when you're doing this rather than just your hands. That's the way you get the best squeeze. And then just try to go as far back comfortably as you can. Now we're going to just be doing an actual fly. Make sure you, same thing, don't go too far back where you're uncomfortable, but far enough back where you get a deep stretch. And then a really good squeeze by trying to meet your elbows once again in the middle and touching each other. But, don't lead with your hands, lead by your elbows so you get the most chest and rather than shoulder activation. So now we're going to be working on the lateral head because we're going down and at the side. Make sure you're keeping your arms tucked and dig into your sides the most you can to get the most lateral tricep activation. Go slowing the way up and go exploding the way down. And make sure you're training heavy with these, but not too heavy where your elbows are flaring out or anything. Now we're going to be working on the long head of the tricep. Don't go too far back, but far enough back where you're getting a lot of stretch in the tricep. You can also do these with a straight bar, but I just like dumbbells because it's more unilateral. Makes it so you have no imbalances. And when you're also doing these, you're going to be hitting medial head, but you'll be hitting medial head kind of on any kind of push or tricep movement. Okay. And now we're going to be leading with the pinky when doing these. Make sure you explode at the top, go slowing the weight down. I just wanted to see how much weight I could do on lateral raises comfortably with good form. And then I did a second set going just a little bit down weight. So I did 35s next. Okay. All right, so we are done with everything. Got a good lift in, an okay pump, better than what it usually is. So I'd say it's a good pump, but I think I definitely have to do like 2 to probably 2.5 servings, maybe 3 servings of it, if I really want to like get that full like, you know, like I felt definitely the mind muscle connection thing that they were talking about. I always do, but today it was like a more enhanced version of that. Like when I was over on the like the kind of, I don't know, it's like Smith machine, not Smith machine, cable, but it's like a, what is it called? Technogen cable, that's what I'll call it. But the push kind of thing, usually I feel that squeeze, but that was like deep in there. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But overall, pump was rather kind of the same, maybe a little better, but the mind muscle connection thing definitely was a little better. Like if you've ever smoked weed and trained and lifted before, it's that exact same kind of feeling. So do not recommend that though. But I just gotta say, I enjoyed it today. Triceps, chest, a little bit of shoulders, everything went well today. The low volume training thing, it's working so good. Like compared to high volume, which was what I was doing. I was doing moderate to high, but now I'm doing low to moderate. So much better. The reward in that being, I'm able to go harder in my sets. And I'm out of here in, like, without cardio, if I didn't do cardio, 30 minutes max. Right? And that's always the thing that I hear from a lot of people who don't want to lift is, oh, it takes so much time. I don't want to be there for 3 hours. Dude, if you're past here for an hour max, let's subside cardio, but just lifting an hour, you're yapping. But now with cardio included, hour to an hour 15 is, I'd say, very valid. But today I think I've been in here for about 35 minutes now, including the warm-up. So overall, you know, I'm able to do my rest sets. I had 4 sets of chest, 3 sets of triceps, I think, and 2 sets of shoulders, 3 muscle groups. That's 9 sets total. That's a very small amount for 3 muscle groups, right? You don't need to do 8 sets per muscle group. Like Sam Sulek, he always talked about, or not always, but he talked about before, how he used to do 20 sets per muscle, 2 times a week, 40 sets per muscle group a week. And I used to do full body 10 sets per muscle group. Now, it wasn't probably 10 sets, it was probably like 4 or 5 sets. But it's full body, 6 days a week. And then I found out, well, I'm in the gym for 3.5 hours just lifting weights. Let me do something else. I gotta figure something else out. But that's like always the funny part of like when you first start lifting, is you do these stupid things that you realize don't actually work, and then you try something else and you're like, wow, I should have been doing that for months now. But like I said, you live and you learn. So experiment. If you grow splendidly from doing full body 3.5 workouts a day, 6 days a week, go for it. If you grow great from it, fine. But try a little bit of everything. Like, I'm gonna keep doing the low volume. Like I said, I enjoy the training because I'm able to go intense every set I want to. And not even like, I'm not able to go intense if I did high volume, but I would have to lower the weight. Now I can do 1 or 2 sets on an exercise and be out of there. And do, like I did Smith machine today. Top set was 195 in Smith for like 10 or something. Next week I'll probably be able to do 195 for 11. Or 200 or 210 for 8, you know? And that's the best part about this, is I said before that having only one shot kind of sucks. It doesn't suck. You have one try and one shot to really execute that set, which for one puts pressure on you to really train to failure every time, and two, it kind of allows you to be like, okay, this is my one shot. If I don't execute this, I'm not gonna grow. Rather than just be like, okay, I have 2 more sets to look forward to. Let me go 4 by 12, or not 4 by 12, 12 reps right here. Have 3 reps until you go to failure, and then go 2 more sets, do that 2 more times. That is not beneficial at all. I mean, maybe to a certain degree, but if you just did 1 set to all out failure, you're gonna gain much more mass. All right. And another misconception is protein and carbs. Honestly, you could get away, well, I'm not gonna say that, but if you are not eating carbs, you're not gonna gain muscle mass, because your energy is not gonna be good, right? Carbs give you quick energy, everyone knows that. Fat stores energy, and protein repairs whatever you destroyed in the gym, right? So let's say this: you ate 60 to 100 carbs every workout, compared to the guy who eats 10 carbs. Who do you think is gonna have a way better workout? Obviously, the guy who's eating 60 to 100 carbs a day before the gym. And it gets a little bit more confusing, because you might just say, okay, let me eat like some slow digesting carbs, right, compared to fast. Rice, sugary stuff is more fast carbs. I don't recommend going to drink a 2 liter of Code Red or anything. Yeah, that is fast digesting, but watch the sugars too. And you may be asking, well, why does slow digesting matter compared to fast? Well, fast, I mean, if you just think about it, if you eat them 30 minutes before your workout, you have to be structured in the gym. That's why I always tell this, because if you eat fast digesting carbs that will, digest in 30 to 45 minutes, and you don't lift till 2 hours, well, those carbs are honestly useless. So depending on what you're doing in the gym when, right, if it's legs, you need more carbs, obviously, because the outwork of your legs is going to be much more than a bicep, right? So what I will say is this: if you want to get a good pump, if you want to have good energy in the gym, if you want to be able to keep going throughout your workout, eat, like I said, 60 to 100 grams of carbs before your lift, 30 minutes before. Eat fast digesting carbs, around 25 to 35 grams of protein, and below 10 grams of fat. Because another thing is, fats make you digest stuff slower. And when it goes to fast digesting carbs, and we're talking about fats, let's say you did everything perfect besides the fat. So you ate good sodium, 70 carbs, 35 grams of protein, but your fat intake is around 40 grams. In a normal day-to-day thing, right? After the gym is fine, right? You need fats for your hormones. But when we're just coming just pre-gym, having good energy, having good pump, it will basically contradict your carbs that you took. So, meaning, if you eat that 70 grams of carbs, that fat digesting carbs, it's going to take longer to digest those carbs. It's going to be like a slow digesting carb, because the fats are still getting digested too, and fats take a lot longer to digest. That's why they recommend eating less than 10 grams of fat before your workout. And anything after that is fine. It's fair game. But don't overdo the fat. Right? That's how calories add up quick. But that's not to say you can't have a cheat meal after the gym. And I won't even like to say cheat meals or, blah, 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 superfoods. Because what I found out is, as long as you're getting your micronutrients, meaning potassium, sodium, and as long as you're getting your macronutrients, you're gonna gain mass. You're gonna gain strength, you're gonna gain size. You're gonna get toned. whatever you want to call it. And one more thing for the diet aspect is, well, I'm going blank right now. But, you know, like I said, for just the most simple way to say it, 60 to 100 quick carbs, fast digesting carbs before the gym, 30 grams of protein, and below 10 grams of fat. Meaning you could eat like 60, 70, 80, whatever grams of carbs and rice, and then have 3 to 4 ounces of chicken breast, have a rice cake or 2, have a banana, and have Powerade, because you need intra-workout, and that is basically carbs that you're drinking during your workout. That's why I always come in with a Powerade, Body Armor, or something, because with the low intensity training, not low intensity, low volume training, is that all my sets are 100% to failure. So my body needs a little energy, a little quick energy. That's why you see power lifters bring like Sour Patch Kids in. You may think, well, that's stupid, why are they doing that? Power lifters need energy for their top lifts, because I train bodybuilding. I'm not training light by no means, but for a power lifter, a lot of their sets are like 5 reps max, and they're doing 400-pound squats. If you were in their perspective, if you were in their shoes, you would probably need some energy too. That's why you see them resting 20 minutes. I make fun of them for it. I have a couple buddies, but it's definitely, makes sense why they need to have those yard chairs in there. I remember seeing this one guy, he, at my old gym, he would have Sour Patch Kids, a whole duffel bag worth of all his, accessories, like his wraps, hooks, whatnot, and he'd have a yard chair, like a lawn chair, and Sour Patch Kids that he would just munch on the side and just sit down before every set. That guy was so funny. But, like I said before in all of this, it's a little bit of take in, like when I just kind of said all that. But at the end of the day, if you just take 10, 15 minutes of your life and put it on Google, put it to research, put ChatGPT, whatever, you will learn so much that quick. But like I said before, you need to try out things for yourself. So me saying these things, if you're a guy who performs better, or gal, who performs better at eating 30 carbs before the gym, eating barely any protein, barely any fats, like a fasting diet almost, then by all means do that. Don't take 100% of one lifter's perspective into what you do every day. Like Arnold, he had this one lift, the Arnold press, which everyone was doing for a while, but he even said it's a lie, because it's just kind of like he was seeing, it's a joke almost too, how many people would just follow him because he's just a huge guy. And it works, because if you have the results that show that, a lot of people are just going to believe you no matter what, instead of putting, using their brain and actually learning from their experiences and the actual research. So don't be a fool. Don't listen to 100% of what one person says in life and in the gym, right? Your experiences matter the most. Almost out of everything. But other than that, I think that's it for this video. I think I ran it a little bit, but yapping my mouth off. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.